There's a moment when someone says something sharp, dismissive, or unfair, and you feel it. That heat in your chest, that rush in your thoughts, the urge to defend, to snap back, to prove them wrong. It happens fast, like a match to dry grass. One spark and the fire wants to spread, but in that instant you also hold another possibility, a choice to remain calm, to stand as a steady rock while the waves crash and foam around you, to walk away without carrying the poison they tried to hand you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is the essence of a Stoic approach to provocation, not pretending it doesn't hurt, not forcing a fake smile, but standing in the truth that your response is yours alone. In this video, we'll explore how to do that, how to maintain calm even when every nerve in your body screams for a reaction, not through repression, but through mastery, not by ignoring life, but by engaging with it wisely. I've lived through moments where a single careless remark could ruin my entire day until I learned that my peace was never in their hands. It was always in mine. And if you're on a journey to strengthen that inner peace, to meet chaos with clarity and provocation with poise, I invite you to stay with me through this. You'll find tools you can use today, in the middle of real conflicts, to keep your calm unshaken. If you value this kind of reflection, I encourage you to subscribe so we can walk this Stoic path together, one step, one breath, one challenge at a time. Number 1. Master the first impulse before it masters you. It starts in a flash, a word, a tone, a glance, and your body reacts before your mind has time to think. Your jaw tightens, your heartbeat quickens, your breath grows shallow. That is the first impulse. It's the raw, unfiltered surge of emotion that bursts into your awareness the moment you feel wronged, insulted, or challenged. And if you've lived long enough, you know what happens when you let that impulse run the show. It can wreck your day, your relationships, even your own self-respect. The Stoics understood this danger well. Epictetus said, in essence, we cannot control what is said or done to us, but we can control how we choose to meet it. That first impulse is not who you are. It is not a command. It is a test. Think about the way thunder follows lightning. Lightning is instant, blinding, unpredictable, and powerful. But the thunder, that's the echo. And in life, you can choose to let the echo be silence, or let it be a storm. When you master the first impulse, you create a gap, however small, between what happens and what you do next. That gap is where your freedom lives. I've felt that gap shrink to nothing in the past. I've blurted words that I couldn't take back. I've slammed doors I didn't mean to close. And I've walked away from moments with a heaviness in my chest, knowing I had let the first impulse decide for me. But here's the thing. Mastering it is not about pretending the impulse doesn't happen. It's about seeing it. It's about training yourself to notice the spark before the fire. One of the most practical ways to do this is to develop what I call the Stoic micropause. The moment you feel the emotional surge, you silently name it. There's the anger, there's the hurt, there's the pride rising again. By naming it, you create distance. You stop being swept away by the wave, and instead, you stand on the shore, watching it break. It's like watching a strong wind bend a tree. You can feel its force, but you don't have to let it uproot you. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that other people's actions are shaped by what they think is right, whether or not they actually are right. So when someone provokes you, they're not attacking your essence. They're acting according to their own limits, their own ignorance, or their own pain. When you see it that way, you stop making their outburst the center of your story. And the first impulse? It loses its teeth. Here's a reflection I often use when I feel provoked. If I react now, will it serve me, or will it serve my ego? 9 times out of 10, it's the ego that wants to bite back, and the ego's victories are always short-lived. So how do you strengthen this ability? You practice outside of the high-pressure moments. Like a soldier training before the battle, you work on your awareness during calm times, catching your thoughts, noticing your feelings, and rehearsing that micro-pause. You can do this in everyday situations. When someone cuts you off in traffic, pause. When a stranger bumps into you without saying sorry, pause. When a message arrives that rubs you the wrong way, pause before you reply. Each pause is a small victory, and these small victories stack, building an unshakable reflex, not to suppress what you feel, but to guide it with reason. Here's the metaphor I carry. Imagine holding a bow and arrow. The first impulse is like drawing the string all the way back in an instant, ready to fire. But mastery is choosing when or even whether to release it. Ask yourself, what would happen if you didn't fire? Would the target still be worth hitting? Or would you be grateful you kept the arrow? In mastering the first impulse, you reclaim your dignity. You show yourself and the world that your emotions serve your judgment, not the other way around. And the truth is, when you refuse to let the first impulse take control, you often disarm the very person trying to provoke you, because nothing frustrates a provocateur more than your refusal to play their game. Seneca wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." When someone tries to pull you into their chaos and you meet them with clarity, you've already won. This is not easy work. It's not a one-time decision. It's a discipline. And yes, you will fail sometimes. You will slip, you will react, and you will wish you hadn't. But each time you catch yourself a little sooner, each time you feel the spark and choose not to let it burn, you grow. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll be in the middle of a situation that would have once shattered your composure, and you'll notice that your heart is steady, your breath is calm, and the first impulse passed you by like a gust of wind. That is freedom. That is strength. And that is the first step to maintaining calm amidst provocation, mastering the moment before the moment masters you. Number 2, see the offender as a mirror, not a threat. It's easy to see someone who provokes you as an enemy, as if they are standing across a battlefield, sword drawn, ready to strike. But the truth is, most of the time they're not an enemy. They're a mirror. A mirror doesn't create what you see, it simply reflects it. Sometimes that reflection is flattering, sometimes it's uncomfortable. And often, when someone's words or actions sting, they are showing you something about yourself, your pride, your insecurities, your expectations. This isn't about excusing harmful behavior. It's about seeing it through the lens of wisdom, rather than personal offense. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often that other people act from what they believe is right, whether or not it truly is. In his meditations, he wrote, in essence, when someone does wrong, it's because they think it's right, or they simply don't know better. Think about the last time someone's comment stuck with you for hours, maybe days. Why did it stick? Was it because it revealed something about you that you didn't want to face? Or because it triggered an old wound you thought had healed? When I started practicing Stoicism more seriously, I noticed a pattern. People who irritated me the most were often revealing my own impatience, my own stubbornness, or my own tendency to judge. It wasn't pleasant to admit, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Here's a metaphor. Imagine walking along a quiet path and stepping into a puddle. You look down and see the sky reflected in the water. If the water is still, the image is clear. But if the water is disturbed by wind, by ripples, you can't see clearly anymore. When we react to someone's provocation without awareness, we're like that disturbed water, too shaken to see what's really being reflected. But when we stay still, when we let the surface settle, we can see both the reflection and what it teaches us. Seeing the offender as a mirror doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you accept mistreatment. It means you choose to first ask, what is this situation showing me about myself? Sometimes the answer is that you need stronger boundaries. Sometimes it's that you need to loosen your grip on pride. And sometimes it's that you are carrying an old story about yourself that no longer serves you. Seneca once advised to treat the faults of others as you would a child's. Correct them gently, without anger and without surprise that they exist. If you walk through life expecting every person to act exactly as you would, you will spend most of your days in disappointment. I've learned that when I stop labeling someone as the problem, I free myself from the trap of seeing life as a constant fight. When you label someone an enemy, every interaction becomes a battle. When you see them as a mirror, every interaction becomes a lesson. Of course, some mirrors are dirty. They reflect not truth, but distortion. A jealous person may project their insecurity onto you. A bitter person may try to pull you into their resentment. In those cases, the reflection isn't about you, it's about them. But even then, there is something to learn. You can learn what it feels like to carry bitterness and decide you won't carry it yourself. You can see the cost of living in resentment and commit to choosing peace instead. Here's a practical way to apply this. The next time someone provokes you, ask yourself 2 questions. Is this reflection showing me something about myself? Is this reflection showing me something about them that I don't want to carry into my own life? Either way, you walk away with insight rather than injury. Think about how the natural world handles reflection. A mountain lake doesn't choose what it reflects. It simply receives the image and lets it be. The mountain doesn't get offended when the clouds cover its peak in shadow. It knows the clouds will pass. And so it is with us. When we see the offender as a mirror, we stop needing to control their behavior before we can find peace. We stop wasting energy on trying to reshape them into something less threatening. Because the truth is, the threat we feel is rarely from the person. It's from the story we tell ourselves about what their actions mean. When you meet provocation with curiosity instead of hostility, you disarm both yourself and the situation. And here's the unexpected part. You may even soften them. People are not used to being met with calm understanding in moments of tension. Your steadiness can surprise them, maybe even inspire them. It won't always change them, but it will always change you. And that's the real victory in Stoicism, not turning every offender into a friend, but turning every encounter into an opportunity for growth. So the next time you face someone who seems to be testing you, remember, they are not always a threat to your peace. They might just be a mirror reflecting something you need to see, decide about, and ultimately, let go. Number 3, create a fortress of inner space. There is a place inside you, untouched by noise, untouched by insult, untouched by the chaos outside your skin. Most people never visit it. Some don't even know it exists. But the Stoics called it the inner citadel, a fortress of mind and spirit that no one can breach without your consent. Marcus Aurelius spoke to himself about this place constantly. In meditations, he reminded his own mind, people will do and say what they will, but you are not obliged to be shaken. This wasn't wishful thinking, it was training. The same way a fortress is built brick by brick, stone by stone, your inner space is built choice by choice, thought by thought. I think of it like this. The world is full of wind. Sometimes it's gentle, sometimes it's a storm, but inside this fortress the air is still. You can hear the wind outside, but it cannot reach you unless you open the door. The trouble is most of us live with the gates wide open. We let every passing comment, every careless look, every minor slight march right in and take up space in our minds. Before long, we're not in control of our own fortress. It's a crowded, noisy marketplace where strangers set the rules. To create your fortress, you start by drawing the boundary. It's an invisible line that says, this is where I begin and the world ends. Your emotions, your peace, your dignity. These are the treasures stored within, and like any fortress, you don't just build walls, you strengthen them. You reinforce them daily through reflection, through choosing where to put your attention, through refusing to hand your mind over to anyone else. One practical way I've learned to do this is a mental ritual I call closing the gates. When someone says something provoking, I picture the gates of my fortress slowly swinging shut. The sound of their words fades to a distant murmur. Inside, I breathe and remind myself they can knock, but I choose whether to open. This doesn't mean you ignore life. It doesn't mean you retreat forever into silence. It means you decide what gets in. If a friend offers you constructive feedback, you open the gate and invite them in. If a stranger throws careless insults, you keep the gates closed and continue tending to the life within your walls. Seneca wrote that no person can truly harm you unless you allow them to disturb your mind. In other words, the walls are always in your hands. Here's the metaphor I often hold on to. Imagine your inner space as a garden inside the fortress walls. You've planted peace, patience, and clarity here. If you leave the gates open to every wild animal, your garden won't last a week. But when you guard it, not with fear, but with care, it thrives no matter what rages outside. Of course, the hardest part is when the storm comes from people close to you. It's one thing to keep a stranger outside the gates. It's another when a friend, a partner, or a family member says something sharp. That's when the walls feel thin. Because love can be both your greatest strength and your greatest vulnerability. In those moments, I remind myself, my fortress is not a prison. It's a place where I can step back, breathe, and choose my response. I can open the gates when I'm ready, but I will not be forced. There's a calm power in knowing that you can be present with someone without letting them pull you off your center. You can listen, even feel, without letting their storm flood your walls. Here's an exercise you can try. Next time you feel provoked, close your eyes, just for a second. Picture the walls of your fortress. Feel the strength of the stone. Hear the wind outside, but know that inside you control the weather. Then decide, do you open the gates or do you let the wind pass? This visualization works because your mind responds to imagery as much as to logic. When you embody that inner fortress, your body language changes, your breath deepens, your voice steadies, you become harder to shake, not because you've numbed yourself, but because you've anchored yourself. Marcus Aurelius called it living in accordance with nature's law. The fortress is not about isolation, it's about harmony. You are not denying that the world is wild. You are simply refusing to let the wildness rule your inner life. Ask yourself, what would my days look like if I lived from inside the fortress? How much energy would I save if I didn't fight every gust of wind? Who would I become if I protected my peace with the same dedication I protect my possessions? Because here's the truth. We lock our doors at night to keep our homes safe. We set passwords to guard our accounts. Yet we let anyone, friend or foe, walk right into our minds. The Stoic way is to reverse that mistake, to guard the mind first, because from it flows everything else. Your words, your actions, your life. When you create a fortress of inner space, provocations don't disappear. The world still knocks, but now you have a choice. And in that choice lies the calm that no insult, no challenge, no chaos can take away. Number 4, slow down time with the pause. There's a split second between what happens to you and what you do next. Most of us never notice it. We leap over it, straight from stimulus to reaction, like a stone skipping over the surface of a lake. But that tiny gap is the most powerful place you will ever stand. When you pause, you take control of time. You slow the rush of your heartbeat, the blur of your thoughts, the surge of your emotions. You step out of the stream and stand on the shore, watching the water flow past. Seneca once wrote that anger is like a ruin. It begins with a small crack, and if unchecked, it collapses the whole structure. The pause is how you catch that first crack before the collapse. I've felt the difference it makes. There have been moments when I didn't pause, when the heat rose in me. My voice sharpened and the words spilled out before I could think. Those moments left me heavy, regretful, and restless long after they passed. But when I paused, when I let the first impulse float by without grabbing it, I walked away lighter, calmer, even proud. Here's the thing, the pause is not about waiting longer to explode. It's not about bottling up your emotions until they burst later. It's about changing the trajectory entirely. Instead of reacting from instinct, you respond from intention. Think of an archer. When they draw the bow, there's a moment before they release the arrow. In that moment, they check their aim, steady their breath, and decide if the shot is even worth taking. The pause is your chance to do the same with your words and actions. But how do you find that pause when someone is right in your face, pushing every button you have? The first step is to train for it before you need it. It's like rehearsing a fire drill. You don't wait for the flames to figure out where the exits are. You practice when the room is calm. One way to train is through breath. When you feel the heat rise, try the 4-2-6 method. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale slowly for 6. This signals to your body that you are safe, that you are not in immediate danger, even if your emotions are screaming otherwise. And when the body calms, the mind follows. Another way is through deliberate awareness. Pay attention in low-stakes moments, when you're mildly annoyed in traffic, when a friend interrupts you mid-sentence, when a barista gets your order wrong. Practice pausing there. If you can do it when the stakes are small, you'll be ready when the stakes are high. The metaphor I hold on to is this. Imagine you're walking through a forest and see a snake on the path ahead. Your body jolts. You freeze. But if you pause and look closer, you might realize it's just a twisted branch. The pause gives you time to see reality, not just your reflex. Sometimes the pause lasts 3 seconds. Sometimes it lasts a day. There's no rule except this. Take as much time as you need to ensure that what you do next will serve you, not sabotage you. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea still falls around it. That rock is not frozen, it's patient. The waves come, but it doesn't rush to push them back. It lets them break, then fade. When you pause, you give the other person's emotion space to lose its heat. Most provocations have a short life. If you don't feed them, they die on their own. By waiting, you avoid adding fuel to the fire. And here's the surprising part. People often respect the pause, even if they don't realize it. When you don't react instantly, you create an air of steadiness, of confidence. It's disarming. It shows that you are not driven by their storm. Of course, the ego resists this. It wants to win now. It wants to have the last word now. It wants the satisfaction of striking back now. But if you feed that urge, you give away your power. The pause is not weakness. It's the highest form of strength. It's the discipline of choosing your timing, your tone, your truth. It's refusing to let someone else's chaos dictate your clock. I've found that the pause also changes how you see the other person. In the heat of the moment, they may look like an opponent, but in the pause, you may see the fear in their eyes, the pain behind their anger, the insecurity behind their arrogance. That shift in vision can change your entire response. Ask yourself, if I pause now, what might I see that I would miss in the rush to react? What truth might appear in the silence? What regret might I avoid by waiting? When you live with the pause as your companion, you stop being a puppet pulled by the strings of provocation. You become the one holding the strings. The world will still test you. People will still say things that spark heat in your chest. But each time you pause, you deepen your roots. You stand a little taller in the storm, and in that stillness you discover what the Stoics knew all along. Time is your ally, not your enemy, when you choose how to use it. Number 5, choose your perspective, choose your peace. 2 people can live through the exact same event. One feels crushed, betrayed, and broken. The other feels challenged, tested, even sharpened by the same experience. The difference, it isn't the event, it's the perspective. The Stoics knew this truth like they knew the shape of the sun. Epictetus said, in essence, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but the judgments we attach to them. The world presents events, but your mind decides what they mean. And that decision, more than the event itself, determines whether you live in peace or in turmoil. When someone provokes you, your first instinct is to interpret it as an attack. They meant to insult me. They wanted to hurt me. They disrespected me. And maybe they did, but here's the power. You can choose to see it differently. I've had moments where a harsh comment left me simmering for hours. The more I replayed it, the more meaning I gave it. I turned a passing remark into a verdict on my worth. But when I began to question my perspective, asking, could this mean something else? I started finding space to breathe. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to see life from a higher vantage point. Imagine rising above the scene, looking down at yourself and the other person as tiny figures in a vast city. Does their remark still have the same weight? Or does it shrink just as a mountain shrinks when you see it from an airplane window? Here's the metaphor I hold. Life is like standing at the base of a mountain with a painting in your hands. You can hold the painting so close to your face that it fills your vision entirely. Every color, every detail seems overwhelming. Or you can take a few steps back and suddenly you see it for what it is. A part of a bigger picture. Changing perspective doesn't mean pretending the hurt isn't real. It means putting the hurt in its rightful place, small compared to the vastness of your life. One practical way to shift perspective is to ask, will this matter a year from now? If the answer is no, then why let it take your peace today? Another question I use, if someone I deeply admire were in my place, how would they see this? That single thought often lifts me out of the smallness of ego and into the largeness of wisdom. Sometimes choosing your perspective means giving the benefit of the doubt, not because they've earned it, but because you value your peace more than your pride. If a friend snaps at you, maybe they're carrying a private burden. If a stranger is rude, maybe they're having the hardest day of their year. When you choose this lens, you release the need to take everything personally. But perspective also means knowing when to step away. Some provocations are like smoke. They clear if you just wait. Others are like toxic gas. They only harm you if you keep breathing them in. Changing perspective sometimes means seeing the wisdom in walking away without carrying the fumes. I remember a conversation with someone who seemed determined to push my limits. Every sentence felt like a jab. Old me would have fought to prove my point, but in that moment, I chose to see the scene differently. I imagined myself as an actor in a play, and this was just a scene I'd soon walk off from. It made their words lose their sting, like lines in a script that couldn't touch the real me. This is the quiet magic of perspective. It changes the weight of the world without changing the world itself. It lets you stand in the same storm, but feel the rain differently. Think about the ocean. From the shore, the waves seem huge, crashing with endless force. But from high above, in a plain, they look like gentle ripples, barely touching the surface. The ocean hasn't changed. Your view has. And with that view comes calm. So ask yourself, how am I choosing to see this moment? Is my view serving me or stealing from me? What would happen if I stepped back, zoomed out, and saw the whole picture? Because here's the truth. Peace is not found in perfect conditions. Peace is found in the power to choose your perspective, again and again, no matter the conditions. When you remember that, you stop being a prisoner of events. You become the architect of your experience, and no provocation, no matter how sharp, can take that away. Number 6, transform anger into curiosity. Anger arrives like a flash flood. It sweeps in roaring and fast. and before you know it, you're carried miles away from where you meant to be. It feels righteous in the moment, like fire in your veins, like proof that you care. But in the quiet after, you often realize, anger rarely leaves you better than it found you. The Stoics didn't deny anger, they understood it deeply. Seneca called it a temporary madness, not because you lose your morals, but because you lose your clarity. You stop asking questions and start making assumptions. But what if, instead of letting anger take the lead, you turned it into curiosity? What if every moment that made you clench your fists became a chance to open your mind? I've tried this and it changes everything. Instead of thinking, how dare they say that to me? I ask, why would they say that? Instead of snapping, they're wrong, I wonder, what do they see that I might be missing? This isn't about agreeing with someone who provokes you. It's about breaking the chain that anger loves to wrap around your neck. Curiosity and anger can't hold the same space. When you lean into curiosity, your body shifts. Your breath slows, your shoulders drop, your eyes open wider. You move from a state of defense to a state of discovery. Here's the metaphor I keep in mind. Imagine you're holding a magnifying glass over a spark. If you angle it toward dry leaves, the spark becomes a flame. This is what anger does. But if you angle it toward the spark itself, examining its shape, its source, its purpose, that's curiosity. You study it, understand it, and in doing so, you take away its power to burn you. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to understand the minds of others, what they value, what they fear, what they misunderstand. When you seek to understand, you step into a position of strength, because you are no longer just reacting, you are observing. The practical side of this is simple, though not always easy. When anger rises, ask yourself, what is the real reason this person is acting this way? Are they trying to protect themselves? Are they repeating something they've been taught? Are they acting from fear, insecurity, or misunderstanding? When I've done this, I've found that provocations often have very little to do with me personally. People bring their whole history to every interaction, their struggles, their wounds, their unmet needs. Sometimes you're just the nearest surface for their frustration to land on. Turning anger into curiosity also changes the story you tell yourself. Anger says, they are my enemy. Curiosity says, they are a human being just like me who is struggling with something. One time, a coworker spoke to me in a tone that was sharp, almost contemptuous. I felt my anger rise instantly. I wanted to match their tone, maybe even go louder, but then I caught myself, took a breath, and asked, what's going on with them right now? I found out later they were under intense pressure from a personal crisis, and my interaction with them happened to be the moment their stress overflowed. My curiosity saved me from adding fuel to an already painful fire. But here's the important part. Curiosity doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior. You can still set boundaries. You can still say, this is not okay. What curiosity does is change how you set those boundaries. Without venom, without unnecessary escalation. You protect your peace while still protecting your dignity. Think about the natural world for a moment. When a tree is struck by lightning, it doesn't curse the storm. It stands, assesses the damage, and begins the slow work of healing. That's curiosity in action. Looking at what happened, understanding it, and deciding how to grow from it. There's another benefit to transforming anger into curiosity. It makes you unpredictable to those who try to provoke you. People expect anger. They expect you to meet fire with fire. When you meet fire with measured, genuine questions, it throws them off balance, sometimes even dissolving their hostility altogether. Ask yourself, what would happen if I turned every flare of anger into a moment of investigation? What would I learn about others, about myself, about the nature of conflict? When you live this way, your mind becomes more like a scientist's lab than a battlefield. You examine, you test, you learn. And over the time, you realize that most provocations are less about truth and more about human messiness. The Stoic path isn't about never feeling anger, it's about deciding what to do with it. You can feed it until it consumes your peace, or you can redirect it into a search for understanding. When you choose curiosity, you choose growth over grudges. And you may find, as I have, that moments which once would have left you bitter now leave you wiser, calmer, and far more in control of your life. Number 7, practice the weight of insignificance. There's a quiet freedom that comes from realizing most of what provokes you doesn't actually matter. Not in a week, not in a year, not in the grand sweep of a lifetime. When we're caught in the heat of the moment, everything feels big. That sarcastic comment feels like an attack on your worth. That rude gesture feels like proof that people have no respect anymore. That small betrayal feels like the end of trust forever. But here's the truth. Almost none of it carries the weight we give it. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself daily, consider how small you are in the whole of time and space, not to make himself feel worthless, but to put his troubles in their rightful place. He imagined the turning of the stars, the passing of empires, the lives of countless people who came before and will come after, and in that vision the insult of a single day became dust. This is what I mean by practicing the weight of insignificance. It's the discipline of stepping back far enough to see how small today's storm really is in the endless horizon of life. I often picture it like this. You're standing at the edge of the ocean, holding a small stone in your hand. If you focus on it alone, it fills your vision. You see every line, every imperfection. But if you lift your eyes to the horizon, that stone becomes almost invisible. It's still there, but it no longer defines what you see. When someone provokes you, it's like they're tossing a pebble into your palm. If you hold it too close, it feels heavy, sharp, and important. But if you learn to see it in the context of the vast ocean of your life, it loses its power. The ego resists this, of course. It wants to make everything about you. It wants to inflate the moment so it feels monumental. That way, reacting feels justified. But this is a trap, because the bigger you make the moment, the smaller your peace becomes. Practicing insignificance is not about apathy. It's not about saying nothing matters and withdrawing from life. It's about deciding what actually deserves the energy of your mind and heart. Here's a practical way I use this. When I feel provoked, I ask, will this matter in 5 years? If not, then it doesn't deserve 5 minutes of my peace. Sometimes I even push the question further, will this matter after I'm gone? That question shrinks almost everything instantly. The natural world is a perfect teacher here. Look at a mountain, its ridges carved over thousands of years by wind and rain. Do you think it's concerned about the brief storms that pass over it in a single afternoon? Of course not. It knows the difference between what endures and what passes. We can be like that mountain, rooted, patient, unmoved by small tempests. I remember one moment when this lesson saved me. A colleague made a public remark that felt undermining. Old me would have obsessed over it, replayed it in my mind, maybe even confronted them in the heat of the moment. But I asked myself, if I look back at my life years from now, will this moment define it? The answer was clear, absolutely not. So I let it pass. And in letting it pass, I didn't just save my peace for that day, I kept my dignity intact. Another way to practice insignificance is through what I call cosmic zooming. Picture your life as seen from space, the curve of the earth, the clouds drifting, the cities glowing faintly at night. Now imagine zooming in until you find yourself standing in a room, reading a message, feeling provoked. From that cosmic view, how much does this moment really weigh? It's still real, but it's no longer all-consuming. Seneca once said that life is long enough if we know how to use it. Wasting it on every petty irritation is like spilling coins from a purse with holes in the bottom. Why pay such a high price for something so small? Ask yourself, what am I carrying right now that doesn't deserve the weight I've given it? How much lighter would I feel if I set it down? Because here's the truth. When you treat provocations as insignificant in the grand scheme, they often become insignificant in the present. And the more you practice this, the more natural it feels. Eventually, you find yourself smiling at things that once would have ruined your mood. You find yourself walking away from conflict without a second thought. You find yourself free because you finally understand that peace isn't found in controlling the world. It's found in controlling what you choose to hold on to. Number 8, respond with virtue, not vengeance. There's a moment after being provoked when your mind feels like it's standing at a crossroads. One path is lit with the glow of vengeance. It promises satisfaction, promises justice, promises that you'll teach them a lesson. The other path is quieter, less flashy. It's the path of virtue. It promises nothing in the moment, but everything in the long run. The Stoics walked that second path, not because they were passive, but because they understood that vengeance is a trap. It feels powerful when you step into it, but it slowly drains you. Seneca wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." In other words, the real victory isn't in returning harm, it's in refusing to become like the one who harmed you. When someone provokes you, vengeance says, "They hurt me, so I will hurt them." Virtue says, "They hurt me, but I will not let them change who I am." I've stood at that crossroads more times than I can count, and I've taken both roads. When I chose vengeance, whether it was a sharp word, a cold silence, or a calculated slight, it always came back to me empty. I might have won the moment, but I lost a piece of my integrity. But when I chose virtue, when I responded with patience or clarity or kindness, even in the face of provocation, I walked away taller, lighter, and strangely stronger. It's a strength that doesn't roar, it stands. Here's the metaphor I hold. Imagine you're carrying a glass of pure, clean water. Someone bumps into you, spilling some of it. You can choose to throw the rest at them, dirtying both of you, or you can choose to keep it, to drink it later, to stay nourished. Your virtue is that clean water. Vengeance wastes it. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself, "What is good for the bee is good for the hive." In other words, your personal virtue benefits the whole. It raises the tone of every interaction you touch. When you respond with virtue, you do more than protect your own peace. You make it harder for hostility to grow around you. That doesn't mean you become a doormat. The Stoics weren't naive. They valued justice as one of the 4 cardinal virtues. Justice means setting boundaries, telling the truth, standing up for what's right. But it's done with steadiness, not spite. Here's a practical way to live this. When provoked, ask yourself, which of the 4 Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, can guide my response right now? If wisdom says this battle isn't worth fighting, you walk away. If justice says this must be addressed, you speak, but without malice. If courage says this is your moment to stand, you stand without hatred. If temperance says hold back, keep balance, you listen. I remember a time when someone spread a false story about me. Every part of me wanted to confront them publicly, to humiliate them as I felt they had done to me. But I paused and thought of what responding with virtue would look like. I addressed it quietly, directly with them, without adding venom. They never apologized, but they stopped, and I was free from carrying the bitterness that vengeance would have kept alive. Nature itself shows us this truth. When a tree loses a branch in a storm, it doesn't throw itself against the wind in anger. It grows new branches. It invests its energy into life, not retaliation. That's virtue. Vengeance may feel like strength, but it ties you to the very person you want to be free from. Virtue severs the tie. It leaves you walking forward while they remain where they are. The beautiful thing about choosing virtue is that it's not just for the sake of others, it's for you. When you respond with virtue, you sleep better. Your mind is lighter. You don't have to replay the scene 1,000 times. wondering if you went too far. You know you acted in alignment with your own principles. Ask yourself, when I look back on this moment a year from now, will I be proud of how I responded? Will my response make me respect myself more or less? That single question often decides the path. The truth is, vengeance is about the other person. Virtue is about you. One is reaction, the other is choice. And in Stoicism, choice is where your freedom lives. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, remember, you can match their fire, or you can hold your flame steady. One burns out quickly, the other lights your way for years to come. The calm after the storm, your lasting victory. There's a stillness that comes after you've chosen not to be pulled into someone else's storm. It's not loud, it's not celebrated, but it's deep. You feel it in your chest, in your breath, in the quiet way you walk away knowing you kept your ground. That stillness is your victory. Because here's the truth. Anyone can lash out when provoked. Anyone can throw words like stones. But to remain calm, to choose your response with care, that's rare, that's strength. Marcus Aurelius would often write to himself, as if reminding a friend, the world will test you. People will act without thought. But your mind is your own. That's the heart of it. You own your mind, your emotions, your peace. I've learned that the calm after the storm isn't just relief. It's a quiet confidence that grows every time you stand firm. It's knowing that next time you'll be even stronger, even steadier. It's realizing that no one, not a stranger, not a loved one, has the power to take from you what you do not give. The storms will keep coming. People will still speak without thinking. The world will still have sharp edges, but your calm will no longer be a fragile thing. It will be a fortress, a perspective, a habit. So when you walk away from provocation with your head high and your heart steady, know this: you didn't just win the moment, you won yourself. And that is the kind of victory no one can undo.